Hi there, and welcome to the Mindset Mastery Summit, a free online training summit where we are discussing how to shift your mindset for greater joy, inner peace, and resilience in order to live your best life. I'm your host, Shelly Roberts. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Gwenn Bonnell, tapping expert and energy coach. If you are searching for relief from physical or emotional pain, Gwenn Bonnell can help. Because she understands that you're going through from her own experience, she found complete relief from burning leg pain with tapping. Since then, as an author, teacher, and coach, Gwenn has shown thousands of people just like you how to tap into the natural healing powers of your body's energy system to eliminate pain, reduce anxiety and its stress, connect with the joy and bliss we are all meant to experience, and other healing things. A pioneer in the field, Gwenn has one of the most first practitioners in combining EFT tapping with energy medicine. Based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Gwenn has led over 200 workshops and classes and thousands of private sessions since 1998. She has been a passionate presenter in the Tapping World Summit since its inception, has given tapping demonstrations at the International Eden Energy Medicine Conventions. Gwenn, welcome to the summit. I'm so glad to have you today.
Thanks, Shelly. It's wonderful to be here.
So can you give us a little bit of background and explain tapping, what it is and how it works, how it makes shifts in life?
Sure. I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and it has evolved along the way. When we first started, we explained tapping as a form of emotional acupuncture because we do use tapping on these points that are actually acupuncture points. And we explained that it worked with the energy system. It helped balance the energy system. So the premise of it was that the cause of any negative emotion was a disruption in the mind-body energy system. And what we did is we focused on something that is causing us stress or some kind of emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, and then did the tapping on these acupressure points to balance the energy system, get the energy flowing like it was supposed to flow to begin with, and the body organically would then release the whatever we were focused on as the trigger for that upset. Now, through years and years of research, we're finding out that there actually are changes in the brain when you tap, when you stimulate these acupoints. There's changes in your stress level. Basically, the part of the brain, the amygdala, that causes you to go into stress calms down and sends signals to the other parts of your body, the hormones and the chemistry, to lower your stress level. They can actually measure and show that tapping reduces your cortisol levels. So it gets you out of stress, it gets you out of fight or flight. And when I first began, I explained that, you're balancing your energy, so these triggers that would cause you stress no longer do that. Well, now we know that there's changes made in the brain, there's changes made in the cortisol levels in the stress hormones, and they're even finding out that tapping can turn on and off certain genetic responses. So that is really mind-blowing, because now you no longer have to pass on all these traumas that you're holding in your body or all these memories of these traumas to your kids. And you can, this is multi-generational stuff when you tap on yourself. So it's really amazing, really, really exciting. And to anybody who's new to tapping, welcome. I hope you get the most out of it that you possibly can today.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's amazing that, we've come so far in our understanding of tapping and its huge beneficial effects. And there's actually some science behind it now as well. Before it was a little bit, I think it feels good, I think it's helping, but now there's scientific proof that in fact it does help with these changes.
Right.
So in the mindset aspect of it, what is the relationship of tapping in terms of mindsets and changing mindsets that then impact your behaviors and experiences?
Okay, let's first define what mindset is. It's a belief that orients or shapes our thought habits, how we think, how we react to certain situations. And these thought habits affect how we think, how we feel, what we do in response to certain situations, and they can be beneficial. They can be really helpful for you, or they can get in the way of living the life you really want to live. It's like any habit. A habit can be good, a habit can be bad. And in tapping, we don't use the term mindset so much. We call them limiting beliefs or psychological reversals or stuck energy patterns, things that you keep replaying over and over again, often on a subconscious level, that stand in the way of making the shifts that you want to make or the changes you want to make in your life. So tapping is really one of the most powerful ways I know of shifting these mindsets, shifting these often subconscious reactions or these patterns or these habits that we've developed throughout life. And not only do these patterns and habits cause us emotional upset, often we create a habit of holding the emotion in our body because we don't know how to deal with it or how to express it. And over time, over a period of time, these stuck emotions in our body can actually show up as physical pain. So when you're in pain, there's kind of a dichotomy of things going on. Pain can cause different mindsets that cause you to feel stressed, that cause you to stay in pain. So it's a whole web we weave sometimes when we're physically in pain. And that's where tapping can come in. It can really help these mindsets that keep us stuck in that pain.
So I think that that vicious cycle, I mean, what is tapping the interrupt that breaks the cycle?
Exactly, you got it. That's what happens. It releases what caused you to start feeling that way in the first place or thinking that way in the first place. It causes the brain to make different connections, so you're no longer stuck in that habit of reacting in a stressful way to a certain trigger. And it also can open up different thought patterns, give you a different way of thinking, a different mindset, a different way of reacting, sort of giving you a little bit more control over how you think, how you feel, and what you feel. Bless you.
Sorry about that. So having that control, what if there's somebody who maybe doesn't necessarily recognize at the front of their brain that they're doing this in their head? They maybe don't recognize.
What I found was really surprising to me when I first started doing the tapping and sharing it with people is, and usually if somebody's been in chronic pain for a long time too, they have this mindset that nothing's going to help. I've tried everything. The doctors can't help. It's hopeless. I've been to too many, specialists, and nobody can help me with anything. A lot of times, nobody even knows why they're in pain, and they get that hopeless, helpless feeling, that fear of trying tapping because now this is their last hope, and if that doesn't work, where are they going to go? And after a couple rounds of just doing the tapping, they seem to calm down, they seem to relax, and they seem to really open up, not only to me about what's going on, but I think to themselves. Like they get these aha moments like, oh, this is, really what's going on. So tapping just takes away those protective layers, or if you want to call it mindsets, the mindsets that are protecting us from maybe even feeling our fear or recognizing that it's there. So it's kind of uncovering layers like an onion, like peeling away the layers until you get to the core of what's really going on. But I found that I would sit there and say, man, I've known this person 5 minutes, and all of a sudden they're telling me their deepest, darkest secrets, The tapping does that. It just helps. The biggest feeling you get when doing it, it just helps relax the system. It gets you out of that fight or flight or freeze response, and sometimes things become more clear, and you're able to go deeper than you were before.
I think that that's a key point, and getting us out of that self-defeating cycle, so that we can move on and release the pain or release the emotional problem that we're having or whatever it is. So can you walk us through a tapping exercise now so we can become familiar with it?
Sure. And I hope that you're not in pain if you're listening to this or watching this. But if you are, focus on it while we're doing this. If you don't have any real pain sensations in the body, how about if you have any stress, you have any tension? Usually, we're stressed during the day and we usually hold it in the body. Sometimes we don't even notice it, so just take a moment, take a couple deep breaths, and scan your body and notice where the stress is, where the tension is. For me, I usually get it in my neck. People get it, their neck, their back, sometimes headaches, stress or tension in your sinuses. Maybe you're upset about something, you feel it in your stomach. Just scan your body and see where you feel like the most stress, the most tension, or if you're in pain, the pain. And what we do is we focus on something specific. So if you have a headache, don't just say this headache, although you can focus on where you feel the most pain or the most pressure. Is it above your eyes or above your ear or in the back of your head? And get as specific as you can. And then rate it on a scale from 0 to 10, with 0 being totally calm, nothing there, totally comfortable, and 10 being as intense as you can imagine. And what I'm going to do is take you through some of the tapping. Just while we're tapping, I want you to, I know it's going to, if you're new to it, you're going to be wondering if you're hitting the right points and everything, but it's a mind-body experience, so you want to stay focused as much as you can on that stress or on that tension or on that pain while we go through the tapping. And I'll do a couple rounds so you'll get more familiar with it and you won't be worried so much about exactly where the points are. Okay, and usually when you have a pain or a stress or a tension in your life that's ongoing or chronic, you tend to think that it's not an easy thing to get rid of. You've had it for such a long time. The mindset is, you know, I'm doomed to struggle through this. There's nothing I can really do to help. Maybe you're in a certain situation at work where you can't get out of it, and that's what is causing the stress in your body. So that mindset we want to change. We want to change from a mindset of a struggle, you know, I have to struggle through this, to the mindset that it doesn't have to be such a struggle. That whatever that stress or tension is, maybe I can open up to some wisdom, some insight about what's going on, and relax the body, release the tension, and find an easy way, like tapping, to bring that relaxation response to the body. Okay, so focus on that tension, the stress, whatever you have in the body. Rate it on a scale from 0 to 10. And even if you have that feeling of it's a struggle, I'll never get rid of it, I've had this for such a long time, you can rate that on a scale from 0 to 10 too. And I'm going to take you through the tapping points. And the first point we tap on is this karate chop point on the side of the hand. And I like to actually tap both karate chop points together, because then you're getting a number of acupressure points along the side of the hand. And we state the problem. So say after me, even though I have this tension in my body.
Even though I have this tension in my body.
And then we state an affirmation. So say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And my body.
And my body.
Even though I have this pain in my body.
Even though I have this pain in my body.
And focus on where that pain is or that tension. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And my body.
And my body.
Even though up until now. It's been a real struggle living with this.
It's been a real struggle living with this.
I choose to consider. That tapping can help.
That tapping can help.
That tapping can help release whatever's behind this stress.
That tapping can help release whatever's behind this stress.
So I can feel calmer. And better about what's going on in my life.
And much better about what's going on in my life.
Okay, so that is called the setup, tapping on these karate chop points and stating the problem and stating an affirmation. And now we're going to go through the tapping points. And the first points are right on the eyebrow where the eyebrow hair starts growing. You can tap one side, then other side, or you can tap both sides. And we want to stay focused on the problem. So focus back on that stress or tension or pain in your body and say, this tension in my body.
This tension in my body.
Okay, and the second point is right on the outside of the eye, right on the corner of the eye, and say, this tension in my body.
This tension in my body.
Third point is right under the center of the eye on the cheekbone. And keep focused on that tension or stress in your body and say, this tension in my body.
This tension in my body.
And then we go under the nose, straight under the nose above the lip. This tension in my body.
This tension in my body.
Okay, and then on the chin, it's right in the crease on the center of the chin. This tension in my body.
This tension in my body.
And then the collarbone, I don't know, let me see. Here we go. I'm just going to lower this a little bit. If you follow your collarbone as it comes in towards the center of your chest, you'll feel there's nodes there. There's 2 bumps there. You don't want to tap on those bumps. You want to bring your fingers out and down to the side and out a little bit, about an inch, and you'll feel a depression there. Okay, and you want to tap on those depressions, either one side, other side, both sides. And so tap on those depressions and say, there's tension in my body.
There's tension in my body.
Okay, and then the next point is under the arm. Here we're getting home. And you just slap under the arm about where your bra strap would be, about 4 inches under the armpit if you're a guy. And say, there's tension in my body.
There's tension in my body.
Okay. And then you can end at the top of the head and just tap on the top of the head and say, there's tension in my body.
There's tension in my body.
Okay, now take a deep breath. And that's the very beginning. When you start doing tapping, you can repeat that same thing over and over again as you focus your mind on where that sensation is in your body. Now go back to that same sensation and see if it hasn't come down a little bit, if it hasn't relaxed a little bit, if you haven't found some kind of relief. And you can put that number on a scale from 0 to 10. And now I'm going to get a little bit more creative. We're going to go, now that you know the points, we're going to go through it again. Have you felt any difference with this?
Yeah, this actually feels calmer, and depending on what we tap on, I've experienced like increased lightness.
Okay.
In some cases. So I'm a firm believer that this works. And
Okay.
I've actually seen it work in others as well, with emotional releases that have was manifesting things in their body as well. So I'm a huge proponent of this technique.
Okay.
But it works even if you don't believe in it. It really does.
That's true. It does. I had I think the funniest example of that is I had a young kid who was he had carpal tunnel syndrome, and it was so bad he couldn't hold like his soda can or a piece of paper or a pencil or anything in his fingers. And he was actually in a service that did lawn maintenance. So his boss brought him in to me because he would take these pain pills at night, and then he would get up in the morning and he was so out of it he couldn't work, but he couldn't work without the pain pills. And he was going in for surgery in like 3 weeks, I think it was. But I had worked with his boss before, so his boss brought him in and said, I want you to just get him through these next 3 weeks. So he was a skeptic. He was young. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And he couldn't. One of the symptoms was he couldn't raise his arm up. It was like stuck by his side because it was so painful. I guess those muscles are all connected. And we're doing the tapping, and he's saying, I don't believe in this stuff. I don't think this is working. And his arm's going up higher and higher. This isn't working for me. I don't believe in this. This is crazy. And at the end of the session, he could hold his soda can. He could hold the paper. He could hold the pen. I mean, he got relief, but he definitely believed it wasn't working, even as his arm was going.
Even as it actually was.
As it was.
So is this the type of thing that needs to be done? I mean, that's pretty amazing that there was basically an instantaneous relief for him. But does it, I mean, if there's something that's deeper and more embedded, is it that instantaneous typically?
It depends what you're working with. I found that wasn't like a long-term chronic pain. That was just something that came up in his life, I guess, because he was doing the repetitive motion of mowing lawns, or whatever he was doing. And he was young. The younger you are, I see quicker relief. Even with kids, they get faster relief because they don't have those layers and layers and layers. Now, what I found, and what I suspect is, when we're a kid, something happens to us. We can't express that anger or that emotion. It's not safe to express it. We don't know how to express it. Our brains aren't developed yet. Nobody's taught us how to, and we're taught to hold that emotion in. And usually that keeps us safe somehow. We don't get yelled at for screaming and yelling and crying, or being angry. So we use it as a response that keeps us safe. And because that happened, the next time the same thing happens and we feel that response, we can't express our emotions. We want to stay safe, so we create that pattern, that mindset. It's not safe to experience or to express your anger. It's not safe to let the big people in your life know what you think or how you feel. And that becomes a mindset. That becomes a pattern. We repeat that over and over and over and over again because it's keeping us safe. And when we get to the 20s or 30s, the 40s or like 60s, I work with a lot of older people. You keep repeating that pattern, subconsciously because it keeps you safe. And now, anybody that is in long-term chronic pain, and I had pain for 12 years that I couldn't do anything about. It's because our we keep repeating that pattern so much that that energy gets stuck in our body. Emotions are energy in motion, and if they don't move, there's the energy that gets stuck. And our body, when it's in pain or we have some stress or tension in the body, that's the body talking to us and saying, hey, there's something going on here you need to listen to, and you're not. So the more you ignore me, the more painful I'm going to get, And you know that. When you're having a bad day, you get a headache, or, your boss is looking over your shoulder. You feel like, the weight of the world is on your shoulder, and you feel that stress, and it's there, but we don't know how to deal with it, so we push it down. We ignore it. We don't have, so this is a way of bringing it up, releasing it, and a lot of times, the older the pain is, sometimes the more you've got to dig and figure out what's really behind it. And yes, focusing on the pain sometimes can help, and you do the tapping and you get relief, and you might even get down to a 0 after 3 or 4 or 5 rounds of tapping. But I honestly, usually when I'm tapping with people for pain, we rate the pain, and then we go into how do you feel about being in that pain? Because they could feel hopeless, they could feel helpless. There's nothing that can help them. They could feel, another thing is, I've tried everything and nothing has worked. So you've got that preoccupation with everything fails you. Nothing's going to work for you, and anticipating that when you do something, you're going to be in pain. When I get up in the morning and put my feet on the floor, it's going to hurt. Or if I move a certain way, if I walk, this is going to hurt. If I sit a certain way, that is going to hurt. That causes more stress and tension in the body. It causes you to tighten up, and that tightening, that stress, that tension causes you to be in more pain. So there's that vicious cycle again. And sometimes we have to cover, we call these aspects, or we have to deal with all these different mindsets through the tapping and change all these mindsets until we get relief, and that relief stays. That relief is cemented. Because a lot of times we'll get relief in a session, and then they'll go out and go into this world that has all this stress, and boom, they go back again. So we've got to keep retraining the body, keep letting the body know what it feels like to be out of pain, and know how to deal with these different stresses of the day and these different triggers. So sometimes it's more of an ongoing process.
Yeah, it's just, I think that's important to realize that, we get into these habits of thinking or reacting, and you have to break out of that habit and rewrite it, replace it with something that is healthier and more positive. Okay.
So let's go through and do another round of tapping and deal more with the emotional part, that it's a real struggle of living in a stressful situation or with this pain in my body, and the fear that nothing is going to change it, and allowing yourself to be more open to learning what's behind the pain or what's behind the stress, and using something as simple as tapping can really help the body release. Okay?
Cool.
And see if we can't change that mindset.
All right.
Okay, so go back and re-rate that physical discomfort, or if you have that feeling that nothing's going to work, the hopeless feeling, rate that on a scale from 0 to 10. And let's do some tapping. Tap your karate chops together. And even though up until now, it's been a real struggle living with this problem.
It's been a real struggle living with this problem.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And accept that sometimes it's just my body.
And accept that sometimes it's just my body.
Letting me know that there's something that's stressful.
Letting me know that there's something that's stressful.
In my world.
Even
though I have these doubts. That simply tapping can help eliminate this stress from my life. I choose to consider the possibility. Even though I have this fear that nothing is going to change. I choose to be open to learning what's behind this pain.
I choose to be open to learning about what's behind this pain.
I allow myself to open to deeper insight.
I allow myself to open to deeper insights.
About what the body is trying to tell me.
About what my body is trying to tell me.
Through this stress and pain and tension.
Through this stress and pain and tension.
And give my body permission.
And I give my body permission.
To release whatever is behind.
To release whatever's behind it.
Okay, and relax.
And relax.
Okay, now take a deep breath. And the other thing I like to ask clients and students when they have a pain in their body, I like to relate the physical to what's going on in their life. So you can ask yourself, if you have a pain in the neck, ask yourself, who or what in your life is a pain in the neck?
Put a name on it.
Exactly. Or, you have an upset stomach. Ask yourself, what is nauseating in your life? What can't you stomach? Who or what can't you stomach in your life? And sometimes that'll give you insight. And you can focus more, you're tapping on what exactly is going on and who is causing that stress in your body, okay? So let's go on the eyebrow and say, it's been a real struggle living with this.
It's been a real struggle living with this.
Corner of the eye. Sometimes I can't find my way out of it.
Sometimes I can't find my way out of it.
Under the eye. I choose to consider that tapping can help.
I choose to consider that tapping can help.
Under the nose. Even though I've tried everything.
Even though I've tried everything.
And nothing seems to work.
And nothing seems to work.
On the chin. I'm open to having this tapping help me.
I'm open to having this tapping help me.
On the collarbone. Even though I have all this fear.
Even though I have all this fear and doubt.
That nothing will help me.
That nothing will help me.
I've had this for so long.
I've had this for so long.
I choose to be open to learning what's behind the pain.
I choose to be open to learning what's behind the pain.
Under the arm, I choose to allow myself.
I choose to allow myself
to find the insight.
To find the insight.
About what my body is trying to tell me.
About what my body's trying to tell me.
Through this pain.
Through this pain.
Top of the head. And I allow my body.
And I allow my body.
In its infinite wisdom.
In its infinite wisdom.
To heal and release.
To heal and release.
Whatever is causing this pain.
Whatever is causing this pain.
Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, now go back and whatever that stress or that tension was in your body, go back and rate it again and see if it hasn't shifted at all, opened up a little bit. Also, if you had a feeling of helplessness or hopelessness or fear or any of the emotions that came up, see if those haven't relaxed a little bit too.
Yeah, the frustration that I was experiencing is definitely lessened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And what happens when you get rid of that stress response in your body is the frontal cortex actually gets more energy, more blood and everything flowing through it. So you start seeing a way out. You start, being able to make better decisions or seeing different options. Things come up, because you're out of that. You're relaxing that stress response. And
so we've gone through being more open and the tapping to being more open to what our body's trying to tell us and being open to having it explain to us why it hurts in certain ways or places. And now we're more open to other things in our life as well as a result.
Right. What happens when you get rid of that stress response in the brain and throughout the body is you just relax and energy is flowing, and your brain, the parts of your brain that start lighting up are changing. You're no longer in fear, you're no longer in fight or flight. And so you get more, your prefrontal cortex lights up more, and that's your decision making. That's your, seeing your way out of it, seeing different options, that you're not stuck, you're not in that fear place, you're not in that anxiety place. You're just more relaxed, and you think clearer when you're more relaxed.
Oh, that's definitely the case. Yeah, absolutely.
Because what happens with the fight or flight response is the first thing is the blood leaves the front of the brain to go in your chest so you can fight, or your legs so you can run away. And right when you need to make the best decisions, you've lost your marbles. And
I'm going to tap on how to find my marbles.
And what I do with a lot of people too, that and this helps with post-traumatic stress. Oh, the post-traumatic stress, I got to tell you, the research on that is off the charts.
Really?
Yeah, off the charts. I mean, they've done enough studies now that they can do like a general where they put all the studies together and look at all the numbers together. And usually I don't know what the name of the way they measure it is, but usually like a good number is 0.4 to show that it's making some change, and 0.8 to, it's really making a good change. Well, whatever that number is, whatever that rating is for PTSD and tapping is like 2.4.
Wow.
So it's like off the chart. And that's not, a year of therapy. That's just a couple hours of tapping.
Wow.
So it's really shown to really help. And what I found is when people have a lot of stress, it shows up in their body. But if somebody's stuck in that pattern, what I have them do while tapping is put one hand across the forehead and then tap on the point. Because when you put your hand across the forehead, you're holding on one of these things, these two bumps here are called neurovasculars. And putting your hand there's electricity in your hand that brings the blood back up into the brain. So it helps you get out of that fight or flight response faster. So when I started doing this when I was working with veterans, I would stand behind them and hold these points while they did the tapping. And then I could feel under my fingertips as the blood started coming back into the brain, you could feel the capillaries starting to beat again. And sometimes that would take like 15, 20 minutes because, they've been in this fight or flight place forever.
Yep.
The Army teaches them how to be totally aware and ready to fight all the time.
Yeah.
But when they come home, it doesn't teach them how to relax.
Yeah.
They're still stuck in that, So it would take a while, but I have clients do that a lot while they're tapping, put their hand across their forehead. And if you think about it, how many times have you been in school taking a test where you put your hand on the desk and your forehead, your hand across your forehead, and the answer comes to you because you're getting blood back in your brain. Taking a test is stressful. So you're automatically doing something without knowing what you're doing. Your body is telling you, hey, get that blood back up into your brain. So whenever you can't think of something, it's on the tip of your tongue, you need to remember something, this is a good trick. And it works.
Yeah, shift your attention to the warmth and pressure on your forehead, and then boom, you opened it up to.
Yeah, you bring the energy back to your brain, and boom, now you can think again.
There it is. There it is. Well, we're running out of time. How can our audience find out more on tapping and how to use it? And also, can you tell us a little bit about your free gift?
Sure. This was just the tip of the iceberg here today. If you're in pain, you can learn more about how to use tapping. I have an audio program at tapawaypain.com, and I think it's a 10 segment series, a short little series, but it takes you through my most trusted, time-tested, proven strategies for tapping away pain with EFT. And it's not just another tap along like we did here that doesn't specifically address your situation, because you'll see a lot of these tapping scripts online, and you think you want to go there and do that. And that's good. I mean, you borrow benefits with that. But this audio series is really designed to help you be your own best tapping practitioner. It's going to help you understand the tapping process even more and how to make it work for your specific problem. It'll take you through the newbie mistakes that we all made when we first started tapping. It'll get you past that. You'll learn more how to get zeroed in and really hit the bullseye with your tapping target. Really what's behind it. It'll ask you different questions. It'll show you different ways of coming at the pain emotionally, mentally, figuring out what trauma you're holding in your body, using what we call the moving technique, and it'll teach you how to get relief. One of the biggest questions I get is, what if there's a physical cause for the pain? And it'll teach you about that and how to get relief, even if there is, even if the doctors tell you there's a physical cause for that pain. And whether you're brand new to tapping, or you've been tapping for a while, or you want to learn how to help others that are in pain, that audio series is really going to help you. It's really going to give you a good foundation of how to address different pain, different discomfort in the body, the stresses, anxiety, emotional pain, emotional stress with tapping. So that's at tapawaypain.com. And I do have another website, tapintoheaven.com, that has a lot of articles and newsletters and things that I've written in the past, and it addresses a lot of different things besides pain, like jet lag, how you can use this for jet lag, and
Yeah.
different techniques that you can use to attract money in your life, different things like that.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you for offering that to our audience today.
Sure, I hope it helps a lot of
Oh,
people. I living in pain for 12 years. I know what that chronic pain feels like. I know how it zaps away your energy, takes away your life. And tapping gave me back my life. And my goal is to really help people that are in pain get out of pain. The world is a better place when you're not living with that chronic pain every day.
my gosh, so true, so true. Um, well, thank you so much for joining us and for your very generous free gift. And I've learned a lot. Appreciate it. And I know the
Oh,
audience has too.
thank you, Shelley.
Thank you. So for our audience, thank you for joining us, and be sure to look for our next interviews in your inbox, and we'll see you again soon on the Mindset Mastery Summit.